Show. I'm Jack Tomczak. That is Andrew Lee. Check out the live video feed provided by Central Media Services.
We've good. I mean, really good.
Yeah. Hey, everyone! Come and see how good I look!
We've tweeted out and put on Facebook the link to centralmediaservices.com/upandadam. All right, despite the fact there's a projected $2 billion surplus, Governor Mark Dayton and Senate Majority Leader Tom Bach had a press conference yesterday, and they pretty much said, we're going to raise taxes anyway, specifically a gas tax. Joining us now to comment on that is Republican Speaker of the House, Kurt Daudt. Morning, Kurt.
Good morning, guys. That doesn't really surprise you, does it?
No. It blows my mind and then doesn't blow my mind at all.
I mean, it's just not even logical. We got an almost $2 billion surplus. Literally, we had our economic forecast last Friday, a week ago today. And in the forecast, the state economist said, we have, the economy's getting better in Minnesota, and we have this surplus because of low gas prices. So the Democrats' response, take more money out of Minnesotans' pockets by raising the price of gas.
Raising gas prices.
Yeah. We actually would have given the same response if the reporters would have asked me, what's the worst possible thing you could do for the state's economy right now after hearing this economic forecast? I would have said, let's raise the gas tax. That's a great idea. So, but it's very typical. Democrats want to go right back to the cash register. Their plan is to raise this tax at 6.5%, which is about 16 cents a gallon if gas is at $2.50 a gallon, and there is a floor there, so it can't get any lower than that. And it can go, unlimited. There is no ceiling to protect taxpayers. So they've got a floor to protect themselves, but no ceiling to protect taxpayers. So it could actually double the price of gasoline if gas goes just over $4 a gallon. And I don't think there's anybody that believes that gas is going to stay at $2 or $2.50 a gallon.
Well, a few weeks ago it was under $2. It's no longer under $2.
Well, and for Mark Dayton's math to work, gas has to be at least $3.25. So he's planning on funding our transportation needs by banking on the price of gas getting up to above $3.25 and thereby increasing the amount of taxes exponentially from there on out, since it's based on a percentage.
Right. If you ask me, and the funny thing is they've had this TFAC report, and this is the report they cite on what the need is over the next 10 years. They've sat on that for 2.5 years. So for the last 2 years, they had complete control of state government. They could have done whatever they wanted. If you ask me, they're taking advantage of Minnesotans right now because gas prices are low. So if you put a percent tax on the price of gasoline when it's low, it'll double. And it's just a typical thing you'd expect from Democrat politicians.
Now, Speaker Daudt, I think that if the taxpayers of Minnesota were overcharged by $2 billion, the taxpayers should get a refund. However, if that's not going to happen, and if roads and bridges really are the governor's priority, wouldn't it make sense to take $2 billion and put it into your priority?
Right.
If my priority
suddenly
was
find an extra $2 billion in your bank account, and you've got some major priorities that need to be taken care of, wouldn't you take that $2 billion and apply them towards those priorities?
Well, hold on now. You guys are using logic. we can't. Democrats don't know how to operate that way.
Now, part of the Republicans' plan has been to tap into the surplus to pay for transportation, and Mark Dayton has said that it's not a real plan. In fact, this was his quote from the press conference yesterday.
Nothing coming forward other than
we're actually going to roll out a little more comprehensive plan than what we have so far. But we wanted to just demonstrate that, first of all, transportation is a priority, and specifically putting money into rebuilding our road and bridge infrastructure. That's what people care about. That's the mode of transportation most people use. So our plan basically, and we may not even disagree, we're going to spend a little time doing some due diligence, but we may not even disagree on the number over the next 10 years of money that should be spent on roads and bridges, and I think Minnesotans would think that's okay. They think roads and bridges are a great place for tax dollars to be spent if you're going to spend them. I mean, it's one of our constitutional requirements to provide that transportation system.
That's right. One thing we've been saying on this show is that with this $2 billion surplus, if giving it back isn't an option, which would be our first choice of what to do with the money, give it back to the people that you took it from. If that's not an option, then I want to see as much of it as possible spent on transportation infrastructure, and that doesn't include trains and light rail, roads and bridges.
Right, and our proposal that we're going to roll out in the next couple of weeks will basically it'll have a number like that over the next 10 years, and we'll put real money right now, and we'll do it without raising gas tax. We're going to show them that when you've got a priority, that means that not everything is your priority, and that's really the problem with Democrats right now is they don't want to spend this surplus or any part of it on transportation. Roads and bridges, because they've already got it in their mind spent on other stuff.
Right.
So they're going to spend, their plan, they're going to spend the entire surplus and on top of that raise the gas tax and bring in new revenue when we've got a $2 billion surplus. I mean, it's just not logical.
Well, and it's going to make the job of campaigning against them a little easier next year when all I have to do is say that there was a $2 billion surplus and they tried to raise taxes anyway. You know? It makes our job very easy.
To have.
Yeah. I think it's nuts. All right, Speaker Kurt Daudt, thank you very much for your time today. I intended to talk House File 2, but we are out of time for that, and I apologize. But we're not going to forget about education, so we'll get back to that at some point, maybe next week.
Sounds great. All
right.
Whenever you want. Thanks, guys.
Kurt Daudt, thank you very much. Republican Speaker of the House. Think of that, though. Going into next election, we can say they wanted to raise your gas tax when you had $2 billion in a surplus. Mm. How are the voters going to take that?
Right.
Yeah. All right. When we return, there were 5 people charged in connection with a Ramsey County sex trafficking ring that involved a 16-year-old girl. We're going to talk with Ramsey County Attorney John Choi about that case and how big of a problem is sex trafficking in Ramsey County.
Up and Adam.
Of all the morning shows that are on, this is one of them.
On Twin Cities News.